afternoon. This is Brandon Harris, your host of the Lorain County News, the Pulse of Lorain County, where you get your news. If you have yet to subscribe, please do so by clicking subscribe below and let everybody know you heard it here first on the Pulse of Lorain County. Long-anticipated revitalization efforts in Elyria could be inching forward this week. Leaders there pre-approved a funding source to purchase and eventually redevelop the Midway Mall. I can tell you that when I'm out in the community, probably the first question is, what are you doing about jobs? And the second question, can you do something to help the Midway Mall? Said Lorain County Commissioner Matt Lundy. At Tuesday's Lorain County Commissioners meetings, commissioners voted 2-1 to pre-approve a $13.9 million loan from its general fund to the Lorain County Port Authority so it can purchase the Midway Mall property. It's to say that the seller's in good faith here. We have a pre-approval from the commissioners. We just need to finish up our research. Please give us time to do so, said Lundy. The mall has been declining in recent years as customers left for online and competing shopping centers and retail shops have vacated the property. And folks, in other Lorain news today, Democrat Anthony Yiannopoulos announced his plans to seek election to one of the 3 at-large seats on the Lorain City Council. A Lorain native for over 2 decades, Yiannopoulos currently is deployed overseas as part of his duties as an officer in the Army National Guard, according to a news release. He's expected to return to Lorain in the summer of 2023. While Yiannopoulos cannot physically be in Lorain for the primary election season, the campaign will be announcing surrogates that will speak on his behalf, a website with platforms and his ideas for Lorain, and ways to stay connected with him while he is gone, such as writing letters, what citizens want to see done from the Lorain City Council members. The release said a former staffer for U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown and a U.S. Army commissioned officer, Yiannopoulos will bring energized, institutionalized knowledge with him to help Lorain be the city we all know it can be, the release said. I'm running for Lorain City Council at large because I believe in the full potential our great city has to offer, Yiannopoulos said. That means tapping into the potential of every single citizen, and I'm going to work for them. And in other news, a small local candy shop is taking Ohio by surprise. Small town sweet treats based in Wellington, Ohio, have been making a name for themselves. Their owner, Tracy, has put in some time and long days and nights creating amazing freeze-dried treats. Small Town Sweet Treats plans to launch an online presence in January of 2023. They've had amazing success thus far at local events and in stores across Lorain County and in other counties in Ohio. More news originally reported by the Morning Journal. Hector Garcia brings New York graffiti art styles to his new hometown of Lorain. Growing up, Hector saw beauty everywhere. I grew up in New York City, and living there, graffiti is everywhere. From riding the train and subways to walking on the streets and highways. I mean everywhere, Garcia said. The fascination with art style began to develop for Garcia, now 39, at a very young age. I grew up in a low-income area, he said. There were ways to escape bad things that could happen, and graffiti was one of them for me. New York City in the 1990s was shaped by the events of all the prior decades, from the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 to the rise of club kids. The new art style can now be seen across the Lorain community, thanks to Mr. Garcia. And in other news, former President Donald Trump makes a statement that he had the opportunity to trade Paul Whelan for Victor Bout, but the trade seemed to have dire consequences to him. Trump on his social media account said he previously had a chance to swap Whelan for Bout, who's more notably recognized as the Merchant of Death. Trump made a statement to his Truth social media account Sunday night. I turned down the deal with Russia for a one-on-one swap for the so-called Merchant of Death for Paul Whelan. I wouldn't have made the deal for 100 people in exchange for someone that has killed untold numbers of people with his arms deals. I would have gotten Paul out, however, just as I did with a record number of other hostages. Trump said that the Griner one-on-one deal was crazy and bad, and that if the scenario had happened during his administration, it would have happened fast. This statement comes as many Americans are left wondering if President Joe Biden and his team understand the depth of the trade they just approved. Bout, known as the Merchant of Death, is well connected in the underworld, buying and selling arms, and now for a PR stunt was released as Russia is brutally attacking Ukraine. We're only left to wonder how many people may now die at the hands of firearms and explosives that Bout will be wheeling and dealing in for Russia. This is one thing we really need to keep our eyes on as we continue to see a downfall with the Biden presidential team. Folks, if you've yet to subscribe to Lorain County News, if you've yet to check us out, stay tuned in. We are the Pulse of Lorain County. Hit subscribe below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and this is your host, Brandon Harris, checking out.